All right, guys. Hey, this is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast. How is everybody doing this evening? I'm doing great. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. Tonight we are in Pensacola, Florida. Hey, I've been there. I've been to Pensacola. Probably before you guys were born, but I've been there. It was just, you know what? It was just a small town when I went there, but I'm pretty sure it's grown over the years.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, see, yeah, man. It was just a little baby town when I went there. Population maybe 5 or 6. 5 or 6. Hey, Richard,
Yep.
man, I appreciate you guys coming on the show. When I called you, you probably thought I was a telemarketer or something. I'm not quite sure. A lot of people think that's me, when I call and I ask people to come on the show. But you know what? You answered. You said, sure, why not? Man, let's have some fun. Hey, that's what we're gonna do, brother.
Oh yeah, man. We like supporting all the podcasters, and we try to go on as many as shows as we can.
All right. Well, you know what? My show is a little weird. You know,
That's okay.
uh,
So are we.
it's one of those shows that are very out of the box type podcast. I'm one of that podcast that's in the box. I like to bust the box wide. I like to bust it wide open. So hey, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back, and we're just gonna jump right into this.
All right.
All right. So hold on.
Just shared it. Won't go. Just go to mine.
All right, guys, we're back. I mean, I kind of told a fib, but it really wasn't a minute. It was more like 30 seconds, but that's okay.
That's all
Hey,
right.
Richard, first question first, man. I have to ask you, where did you get that first name?
I don't know. I don't know where I got Richard from.
No,
Um, I have an uncle named Richard. Maybe it was from him.
Oh, okay. No, I mean your paranormal name.
Oh, Ethereal Voices. It's like right here. She thought of it.
Okay.
Because Ethereal is like what, like angelic or something? What is it?
Spiritual.
It's a spiritual thing. So, and then we were like, well, she said, well, why not Ethereal Voices? Because that's what we like to do, is a lot of EVP work, audio work, different ways of recording, use all kind of different recording devices. See which does better, getting EVPs. So she came up with it, and it's EVP. So,
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even think about that. You're absolutely right. Man, I did not know this. Hey, way to go. Hey, tonight, guys, we are streaming live. Live on Kick, Rumble, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Paranormal page, and what else? Hey, that's it. You know what? All you guys that are on those platforms, welcome to the show. I really appreciate you guys coming on. Hey, it won't even let me do that. Okay. I'm gonna go over here. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
there we go.
Okay. I think it's these headphones that are acting up. I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Good.
All right. So we're gonna exit. We're gonna exit out of there. All right, guys. We're having some technical difficulties right now, so please be patient. Uh, hold on. Hold on. All right. So we're gonna zoom in here. Okay, there we go. We're back,
All right.
guys. Pensacola, Florida. You know, Florida is the first state of the United States. Uh, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
You know, how does that make you feel? How does you guys feel about that?
I think it's awesome. And where we live, I mean, you know, there's a lot of old history. So what makes it that makes it good for us, being paranormal investigators, is we have a lot of old places that we can go to. And
Mm-hmm.
Civil War forts. We have, old forts that where there's just pieces of them, old buildings.
Old cemeteries.
So,
Mm,
a lot of old history here.
okay, are you guys able to see some of the comments that are popping up?
Yeah, we just saw a couple pop up.
Okay, cool. A, a lot of people embrace history. A lot of people research history. Uh, you know, there's a lot of history buffs out there. Is that some of the things that you guys do when you go out and investigate? Uh, a lot of history, a lot of research first. How do you guys start your day off when you guys about to hit a when you guys about to go out and investigate?
Well, depends on where we're going. If we're going to like a house, we research obituaries, um, old newspapers, anything we can find at the library, anything to do with the deeds, stuff like that. Because a lot of, back in the day, most people had their funerals or their wakes at home. So they would
Mm-hmm.
wake the person in the home. So you can find all that stuff online, newspapers.com, stuff like that. Look city to city for your obituaries and like for that certain address and, pull that kind of stuff up. She does a lot of that.
And a lot of Native Americans. A lot of this area was inhabited by Native American tribes, and to figure out which tribes were here, and because a lot of that information that you get beforehand can help you
Mm-hmm.
with connecting with whoever might be there. And
Right.
it may give them something familiar. For instance, if someone is saying that they're seeing a Native American spirit in their house, if you're able to figure out which tribes were in the area and be able to find chants or things like that for those tribes, then that's something that they can relate to, and they may respond better that way.
Cool. Now, Native American, man, like you say, they ran all through Florida. What is the biggest Native American tribe that was in Florida back in those days?
Creek.
Creek.
I would think
Mhm.
Creek. I would
Creek?
guess.
So
If I had to
several other
guess.
tribes merged with the Creek in the 1800s. So Creek would probably be the biggest.
What about the Seminoles? Since Florida State is right around the corner for you
Yeah,
guys.
Seminoles, southern Florida, where we're at in the Panhandle, would have been a lot of Creek Indian tribes in
Mm.
this area.
Or some of those natives, are they still around today?
Yeah, we have
Yes.
a lot of Creek Indian people that live around here, Pensacola, Milton, all around this area.
Reservation wise,
Mhm.
Yes.
just okay. Have you guys ever ventured out to talk to any Native Americans about any possible investigations on their property?
No, we haven't been to any of the reservations to do
And
anything.
is that something that you might consider doing?
We go anywhere.
We have friends who are in the Creek tribe, so and they, they know the chief, and they're part of the tribe. And we've gone to some events on the tribal grounds, but land changes hands so much, especially in the United States, that we haven't actually thought about it. But that's something to
Okay.
think about.
Now, you know what, guys? You guys are in Florida, and I have to ask you guys. You guys, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have asked you guys, but this right here is going to kind of veer us away from the paranormal. What the hell happened in Miami a couple weeks ago?
I don't know.
At the mall?
We're here, and Miami's like down here.
We're almost Alabama, Florida. We're like
I mean,
Lower Alabama.
So I don't keep up much with what goes on in Southern Florida, Miami or whatever. Yeah,
They're like 8-9 hours away.
So you guys don't know anything about the aliens teleporting into the mall?
No.
Are you guys kidding me?
I haven't heard anything about it.
Wow, dude, that was a big thing a couple of weeks ago. Man, just about every police force, every Miami police department, just everybody that was on that force showed up at the mall, locking it down until the feds got there. There's so many different types of videos about 7-foot aliens teleporting into the mall and shopping. I don't know what they were doing. Hey, I'm thinking they were out shopping. They got paid. They got some money. So I figured that they might, hang it out. But yeah, dude, that was crazy.
Yeah, I hadn't heard a thing about it.
That's my thing. I think if they're going to travel light years, they're going to go to the mall. Of all the places they could teleport into, you could teleport into the mall.
Well,
I'd be teleported to Popeyes or something.
It's a long way to travel. Long way to travel with the same clothes on, I guess.
Well, you know what?
7 foot tall, though. They better go to the big and tall section.
There you go. Yeah, big and tall. But they might have been wanting to get a Dooney and Burke, hang out at the mall. Yeah, go to Dillard's.
Yeah.
Do whatever they do. But yeah, man, that was a big thing a couple of weeks ago. Oh, matter of fact, probably I'd say a month ago that all that went down. And the government is putting a lot of hush hush on it, saying that it was two kids fighting, shooting each other. But nah, dude, you don't send a whole police force and shut down a mall 2 square miles in a circle. And, that don't sound right.
That's up there. That's up where they were saying Roswell was a weather balloon, right?
Yeah, that you're right. But you know what, guys? Hey, tell me a little bit about your team and what you guys are, and what you guys are about.
Well, basically, it's me and her full time, and we have a couple other people that go on investigations with us. This team's pretty new. I've been doing paranormal investigations for about 25 years, so I've been on several. She started doing it with me
14 years ago.
So we're now we're us basically most of the time. We like we were talking about history. We like to investigate historical places,
especially forts. We really like forts.
Civil War forts. We have Fort Pickens here, and then not too far away is Fort Morgan. That's one of our favorite places is Fort Morgan. Plus all the antebellum houses that we have here in Pensacola, old houses and old cemeteries. There's so much to do, but that's our thing is we like historical places, and we like to concentrate on verbal communication. Different ways of recording things, different use different recorders, different brands, tape recorders.
I even bought him remember the old fashioned tape recorders? The ones we used to sit in front of the radio on Saturday morning to record the top 10 before, before cell phones and MP3s and all that was a thing. You had to sit.
Hey, that's before my time. I'm only
Not before
28
mine.
years old.
And let me tell you, to me, you get more EVPs on an old just cassette recorder than I've ever gotten on a digital recorder. I don't know if it had something to do with the way it records, the magnetism, because it uses magnetism through the head somehow or whatever to record onto that cassette tape. But I've gotten just tons of EVPs using just a regular tape recorder.
And you know what? And I see a lot of people going back to those tape recorders. It's cool, but hell, man, they're so hard to damn find these days.
Yep, they are.
You know what I'm saying? It's not. I mean, it's not like you can go to a secondhand place like a Goodwill and find those things, man. You really got to do some digging to find that, man. If you guys find another one, please send it to me. I'll give you my address.
Yeah, we got it at Walmart.
Yep.
Oh,
Walmart carries them now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check into that.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. I seen Walmart going back with old vinyl records, man. That was kind of weird when I went in there.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I mean, which Walmart am I in? The one in 82?
Hey, man, some music sounds so much better on vinyl.
Yeah.
It really does.
If you're a Boston fan, man, anything that those guys made back in the 60s and 70s and early 80s, man, yeah. Man, yeah, everything that's vinyl. I mean, I really don't care for music today because it's not music.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I don't listen.
All the guys play on the synthesizer instead of instruments.
Oh man, come on, dude. That's taking everything away from. How the hell can you play on a synthesizer but can't play a guitar? Yep. Can't beat drums. Can't play a piano. Can't do none of that stuff. It's crazy.
Well, a lot of the schools, they've taken music out of their programs. Music and art is not important anymore as sports. So a lot of schools have gotten rid of music. Kids aren't being taught how to play instruments.
But you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that school, because we're going to come back to that in about 20 minutes or so. Because Texas is doing big things with schooling and paranormal. So we're going to come back to that. Hey, guys. So, Richard, let me ask you a personal question. How do you think the state of paranormal, do you like the way it is now, or do you think it should be done a certain way? How is your feelings about this whole para-unity thing that's going on?
Well, way I look at it, I think that nobody's an expert. You got all these people that say, "Oh, I'm a professional ghost hunter." No. Yeah, I mean, they're like me. I've gotten a lot of experience. 25 years worth of experience. It's not, I mean, can you prove 100% that what you recorded or whatever is a ghost? It's all on what you believe, I think, but we all have so much to teach and learn from each other. And I think when it gets commercialized, and that's what I try to tell people, look, you can't take what you watch on TV and what we do, when we go out and investigate places, it's different. When they're making a TV show, it has to be what the boss says. It's what the production crew, what the production company wants. Nobody's going to watch the show. It's all about ratings. Nobody's going to watch the show if nothing happens. I've been on, I can't tell you how many investigations where we can get nothing. No, not an EVP, nothing. So that's what I try to tell them. Look, it's a big difference. It's TV. It's entertainment. It's different. It's based the same as what all these other groups do, like us. You go out and investigate people's houses and wherever, but it's TV. So it's two different things. But when those guys aren't on TV and they go out and investigate, they do the same thing we do. They just have a boss. That's how they make their living, is producing a TV show that's for entertainment. So they have to be somewhat of more of a character than just their personal self. They have to have a character. And so, but like paranormal people like us and other groups around Pensacola and, everybody, if you know more than another group and you go talk to that group, you can teach them stuff. The older guys can teach the younger guys what to do. We're teaching our granddaughter how to investigate, and she's 7 and she loves it. So, I think it's to share the knowledge like I have and like she has with everybody else. I mean, we can all learn from each other, but ain't nobody a professional ghost hunter.
All
I
right.
mean, it's not a tied down science.
There you go. In your personal opinion, can you tell me the difference between a ghost hunter and a paranormal investigator?
Well, a ghost hunter is somebody that's just going out looking for a ghost. Paranormal investigator, we go and we look for both. We look for, is it a haunting or is it something that we can explain? Is it, the knock in their wall? Is it just a pipe? Or, that's what we try to do is when we investigate a place, we try to rule out it being haunted. That's what we're trying to prove. It's not haunted. Basically, everything that would be logical first. What could it be besides a ghost? We just had a personal case not long ago. There was stuff going on in their house, and I'm sure that they had things happening, but when we went, they had a bunch of dehumidifiers running in their house, and the EMF levels in their house were just off the charts. So it was affecting them. It was making them nauseous, irritable. They were seeing things. They were hearing things. Got rid of the dehumidifiers in their house, and it all stopped. Everything stopped. So that's all it was. So that's what we do. As investigators, we try to prove that it's not haunted. That's basically, what you can do. Hello, Astral Light Paranormal.
Hey,
so we try to prove that it's not haunted. That's what we try to do.
And you know what? And that's the best way. I mean, that is the best way to do it, man. Let's figure out. Let's see if we can come in here and debunk things first. Because the thing is, if you're doing a residential, that makes the customer or the the resident or the homeowner much more comfortable if you go in and say, hey, this, that, there's nothing paranormal here. Hey, it's a good chance they're going to sleep good that night. All right? But if it's the other way around, somebody's going to have a bottle of Jack in the corner, man, and ain't going to get no sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the way, So, yeah, man, it's crazy. All right, you know what? It's really hard for certain people to understand what we do, how we do it, why we do it. Now, that imaginary highway that runs through Florida, that's called the Bible Belt. how much does that affect you guys being in paranormal investigators?
Well, some places now there are some places that I guess if you go there to investigate a place that they kind of look down. We have all the time here if there's an event going on that has to do with ghost hunting or paranormal or whatever. We get the people that stand out front and scream and holler at everybody that's coming in, holding their signs up or their Bible up. I mean, we all get that. And I just tell people, I said, look, just if you just ignore them, then they'll go away. It's not their thing. It's our thing. You're coming here, if you're coming to an event because you like it, don't worry about them. They just gonna stand out there and yell. They ain't gonna do nothing. So just enjoy yourself.
And we've had some homes that we've gone to that they've asked us don't have signs on the vehicles because my neighbors, they don't want people to know they're having investigators in the house. And we're more than happy to do that. We'll wear jackets over our shirts, and so there are some towns you go to where, they'll say, well, this is a very religious town, or this is a town that's not very into this. So please don't advertise that you're coming here. There are some places that are saying, well, we don't want to be known for having ghosts. So, you can't investigate here because that's not what we want to be known for. So that's a lot of what we run into.
It's kind of weird because I don't think there's a place on this planet that don't have a spirit, a ghost, an entity, or something. Every little corner on this planet has something.
I think the craziest thing is that, people don't really talk about it much until you tell people that you're a paranormal investigator. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh my gosh, let me tell you about the house. I'm like, oh my gosh, my grandmother's house is haunted and you got to come check. They don't talk about it until they know that it's something that you do. And then they're like, oh, this person will believe me. And once they realize that you'll believe them, that what they're saying is true to them, and that you're willing to come and check it out and see what you can get, then they're willing to open up about it. And I think there's still a lot of people are afraid of being judged for having paranormal things happening in their lives. So they don't want to speak out about it because they're afraid people are going to say they're crazy.
Now, you're right. Now, why do you guys think that it's people today, you would think they'd be a little bit more open-minded. 2024, this is not 1644. I understand back then, but in 2024, with all the science, all the technology that we have, why is it that people still believe once you pass away, you just go into nothing? There's nothing else out there for us. There is not another chapter, in our book that we have to go through. Why is that people are like that these days?
I don't know. They should. I think it's up to us to show them otherwise, and that's the thing is if you can get somebody, I've had people go on ghost hunts with me that, were 100%, all this is crap. Yeah. There's no such thing. And they were like that, when you're dead, you're dead. Before you were born, you don't remember that, do you? But, so, and that's the way they believe. But I try to tell them, I said, from all the stuff that we've seen over the years, investigating places, from EVPs to full body apparitions to, physical touch, all that stuff. You can't tell me that when we die, that's it. I mean, I'm sorry, but I've seen too much weird stuff happen, for me to say, yeah, when you die, that's it. It just, I really sincerely hope that somebody's not pulling a cruel prank.
Well, if they are, you won't know about it.
Because and what the way I look at it is like if you notice, like little babies when they're first born, they can't talk, none of that stuff. But a lot of times you look at babies and you can tell that they're looking at something.
Mm-hmm.
But they, of course, they can't tell you what they're looking at. But as they grow older, their mind changes and their brain tells them, okay, you're not supposed to see this stuff. It's not real. And I think that's what happens is when you're born, you can see these spirits and angels and different things, when you're small. But as your brain develops, your mental state tells you, you're not supposed to see this kind of stuff. That's not real. That, it doesn't happen. And then, as you get older, I think when you go back into the dying phase of your life, when when your body is physically dying, there's so many people that you can tell they see something. They're reaching up for whatever or smiling, at a time that you wouldn't think somebody would be smiling, or I've seen videos of people that are talking to their loved ones around them. No, I'm fine, but I can still see, these people that are waiting for me. I know I'm dying, but I see these people waiting for me. So, I mean, I don't guess we'll know till we know, right?
I think too, it also goes back to the fact that if you think about in the last 30 years, the family dynamic has changed so much. And me being older, probably, let's put it that way. Back when I was a kid, more people had organized religion, more people went to synagogue, temple, church, whatever, and were taught to believe that there was something after you die. You move on, you transform to something else, you come back as something else. Like you were told, okay, well, have faith in what you don't see, that there's something else. And the whole thing now is that people mostly cannot exist without two incomes mostly. And if you are a single parent, you're having to work all the time and you don't see as many people in organized religion as you did before. There are less and less and less people being taught that, to believe in something they don't see, believe in something just for the sake of believing and having faith in it. And I think that goes a lot towards it too, is that nobody knows what happens after you die. There's nobody that knows. However, we've heard voices, we've seen full-bodied apparitions, we have photos of them, we've heard them. His father passed away in November, and he was ringing our doorbell for an entire day, driving us crazy. I mean, there's been a lot that tells us that we know there's something that goes on afterwards. Mm-hmm. But if you haven't experienced that, you haven't been shown. A lot of people are seeing as believing and not believing as seeing.
Yeah, with my dad, knowing what I do, my dad knew that I was a paranormal investigator. And so I knew he was leaving his body. When he was in the hospital, his body was basically dead. They were just keeping him alive.
His heart was beating. But
he wasn't there. Well, that night, after, when I came home, that's when all this weird stuff started happening. So I knew he was out running around. My doorbell was ringing, and, we have a Ring doorbell. So, there's nobody on the camera, but it's ringing. And then after that night, it hasn't done it anymore, but we've had stuff move. We had a chip bag clip thing that just exploded up in the air and flew into pieces.
When we were talking about him.
When we were talking about my dad.
Oh, wow.
My phone has called his friend, and his friend's phone called my phone at the same time without us calling each other. So, I mean, all kind of things have happened, that happened right after he passed away. So, I mean, I'm, like me, I believe that 100% when we go, there's, something's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be, this bright light and fields of flowers, or is it going to be just like, things go dark, then you open your eyes and you're wherever you were, like, are you stuck in that time? Do they see what we see, or do they see what at their time? Like, if somebody died in 1820, are they still seeing 1820, or are they seeing what's going on now? That's kind of, that's what I want to figure out. Is does it matter? What time you die? Do you just does time keep ticking, or are you stuck in that zone where you died?
Good question. That's a good question. You know
So,
what?
like, I've had a lot of investigators ask, can you tell me, like, what year is it? You ask that question a lot. What year do you think it is? And very seldom you get an answer on that question. What year is it? So
great damn question, dude. Because I want to know that. Now, why do you guys think that the church discredits everything that we do? Churches are sometimes they twist things a little bit. They said, well, some churches say like, well, hey, you can't believe in spirits and ghosts, but yet we have the Holy Ghost in Southern Baptist Church when we get up there and do the Blues Brothers dance. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that, the church sometimes, just twist things. I don't understand that.
well,
Why
I
do you
mean,
guys
it
think
talks
it is?
about that. It talks about spirits and ghosts and things in the Bible. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's a lot of a belief thing that when you die, you either, for church, you either go to heaven or you go to hell. What's in between? Is it like, I think it's purgatory, but it's either a lot of churches, that's what they teach you, is you either go to heaven or hell when you die. So why would you stick around?
Yeah. Now, do you think, like churches aren't the churches when we were growing up, as you're saying, church is different now. I'm starting to see a new age of people that actually believe in what we're doing and what we're trying to explain to people on, you know, spirits and ghosts and where we go to, when we leave our body, and I just think, man, I personally, hell, 50 years from now, I don't even think the church is going to exist, because of the way people are believing now. What you guys think?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you can see, like, a lot of it's not church isn't like it used to be. Like, when we were little, people get up on Sunday morning, go to church on Wednesday, active in the church, all that kind of stuff. And like I said, I think a lot of it is, number one, time. People are having to work more, and they just kind of lost all that connection with church and family, and because families, like she said, family ties aren't like they used to be. Families aren't as tight knit as they used to be. And I think it boils over into churches too, because, when you went to church, when you was a kid, you went to church with your family,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of that dynamic is not like it used to be. So families don't go to church, you know, so, I know a lot of people that go to church, they go to church religiously, Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever days they have something going on at church. And, I believe in God. I believe in God and church, and I don't go to church, but I don't think you have to go to church to believe in God.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
I really don't. There's some churches that are amazing. They do amazing things for communities. They do, all kinds of stuff. And then there's other churches that it's all about money. They wouldn't give you a crumb of bread if you asked for it. There's a lot of them like that. And there's a lot of churches that are very charitable to their community. And if you went up to church and said, "Look, man, I'm hungry. I hadn't ate," they're going to take you in and give you something to eat.
Mhm.
Give you some food to take with you. And that's that. That's what I think churches should be. They should welcome anybody in, no matter what you look like, how you're dressed, whatever. If you're a straight person, a gay person, whatever. Everybody should be treated the same when you go to church.
Mhm.
If you show up in jeans and a t-shirt, then you show up in jeans and a t-shirt. You don't have to wear a suit.
There you go.
And there's a lot of them that are. It's a fashion show.
Yeah, preach on, Richard. Preach. Now you doing it. Preach.
What's church for? Church, you're supposed to go. You're supposed to learn about religion. You're supposed to learn about God, Jesus, and all the stories of the Bible and all this other stuff. But a lot of churches have got away from that. It's like, come bring me your money. I'm gonna talk for about 20 minutes, and then y'all can get out of here.
You got to remember too is that a lot in church, a lot of it was fire and brimstone, and you behave and you follow the rules, or you're going to hell. Well, a lot of people nowadays, they've lived through hell already.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them have either they've fought in wars, or they've been abused, or they've been hungry, or they've been homeless, or I mean, the list goes on and on. They've already been through hell, so they're going and listen to someone screaming at them, telling them, "Don't steal or you're going to hell," and they're like, "Well, I got to steal so I can feed my kids."
Mhm.
It doesn't. The old church doesn't fit into nowadays. It really doesn't.
And we got a lot of new ones around there.
They're popping up.
I ain't gonna say his name, but my landlord is a pastor, and
Wonderful man.
And I've seen some videos of them at their church. They have online church too, as well as at the church. And 90% of the time, they're wearing a t-shirt and jeans and preaching. I mean, that's the way it should be. Come in, be comfortable, relax. We're going to talk about whatever. We're going to talk about this story in the Bible, or we may not talk about the Bible. We might just talk about whatever current events. Some things that happened in the world that we need to discuss. But it should be where if you go to church, you don't feel like, oh man, why am I here? Everybody should be treated the same.
But we do have a friend who's a Pentecostal minister that we have investigated with. So, I mean, but the church not supporting the paranormal community might be a blessing in disguise, because you can't go into investigating the paranormal without knowing what you're doing, because yin and yang, there's good and there's bad, and you have to be able to tell the difference. And if you don't know how to cleanse a house, you could be locking something inside the house. If you can't tell the difference between, is that the spirit of a child, or is that the spirit of something more malicious, then you are opening up a door to something that you are not prepared to handle, and possibly making someone's life worse. So if the church is sitting there and saying, "No, don't do this," they may be deterring some people who maybe shouldn't be involved in it. See what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. Guys, me as a paranormal investigator, there can be two different reasons why I'm a paranormal investigator. One,
You're all staticky again.
Okay, one is, can you hear me now? One
Yep.
is because I'm trying to figure out what is going on. And number two is I want to be able to, to when that day come for me, I want to be prepared for what's going to happen. So as me as a paranormal investigator, I take two of those, and and I kind of run with it because I am a curious individual. I think our humans are curious. But so for anybody to have not a doubt, you know, when I ask people that come on my show, hey man, why are you a paranormal investigator? Most of them can't answer the question, and most of them don't answer the question what I think that should be the answer. So as me, I'm going to answer my own question. Uh, I'm a paranormal investigator, and I'm tell you what, I'm preparing myself for that time when it comes. For the simple fact, I don't want any surprises. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if I know there's something out there compared to not knowing, which one would you take, the not knowing or the knowing?
Yep.
I'll take the knowing all day.
Exactly.
You know what
I'll
I'm saying?
tell you though, no matter how many EVPs you do, and everybody always asks that question of spirits, what happens after you die? And I have yet to hear one answer that question.
One thing I do know about the spirit world, there's a lot of politics.
There's rules.
There's rules and politics up there. We have them down here, but just think about it, without rules and regulations and politics, how do you think this planet would be right now?
Yep.
So you really got to think about it. So why not have the same thing when when you're there? It kind of holds things together. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that there's got to be, there has to be some kind of, like they tell them, look, you're not supposed to talk to the living. You're not allowed to show yourself to the living. But I guess you get the rogue ones that do, or maybe it's just ones that haven't made it that far. Maybe that's who we're talking to, is the ones that just don't know where to go. They're just kind of there existing, but don't really know, am I dead or not, or they just refuse to believe they're dead. I
Now,
don't know.
is it possible that the roles could be reversed? Is it possible that they can investigate us as much as we investigate them? Because if you look at it, okay, they're in a different realm. Okay, but we're in a different realm also.
Mm-hmm.
So is it possible that they can be asking us the same question?
It might be. We might be the ghost.
Like that movie, The Others.
Possible. I mean,
Well, that's like
really
once
so.
they die, we were saying that they have a learning curve too. We've investigated. We had a friend whose brother passed away. We were there as the body was being removed, and we were supposed to go to an event, a paranormal event. And he's like, "I really want to do an EVP session." We're like, "Well, if that's what you want to do," because we had all the gear. So we're like, "Okay." And we did an EVP session. We didn't get anything, and the body had just been moved.
So I think some of them it does. Yeah, it takes them a while to learn how to, how can you leave your voice on that recorder, or how can you draw the energy out of something so that you're able to appear just for whatever couple of seconds that they appear.
Or if you get scratched, it may not be malicious that you got scratched. It may be they've been sitting there going, hey, 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 for months, years, you don't know. And then finally they're like, hey, and that's when you get scratched.
Yeah, because there's too many of them that you got scratched. Oh, you have 3 scratch marks. It's it's demonic.
Mm-hmm. But
I'm sorry, but
doesn't that sound also familiar to you guys? Think about it. It sounds familiar. It's the same thing that a newborn baby does when it comes into the world. You know what I'm saying? It has learning curves. It goes through different stages of evolution and life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when a child wants to get your attention, what does it do?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep,
Mama,
exactly.
mama, mama. It might not scratch you, but some. But here's
Yep.
the thing: when you're a baby, now why do you think we put those cuffs on babies when they're born to cover up their hands?
Yep.
Because they scratch themselves.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that they do that to get attention. Maybe they do. Maybe the mom or the dad say, "Oh, my baby scratched himself. Let me be, let me take care of this." But it seems like we went through that cycle before when we're babies,
Mm-hmm.
and when we die, we go through that cycle again.
Well, I mean, that's what they say. When you die, you're actually being born again.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
know. So,
It's weird, but you just gotta love it, don't you?
oh yeah, every minute of it.
I mean, if you're not excited, I mean, might sound kind of corny, but dude, I'm telling you, I'm so exciting because I know my day is coming. I mean, you can't be sad about it. You can't be upset about it because it's nature. It's just the way that it's just the way things happen. You know what I'm saying? So with me being, exciting about things, of course I'm gonna miss the loved ones that are still here. But just think about all the knowledge and stuff you're gonna gain, and all the other family members you're gonna see and visit and spend time with when you leave.
Yep.
It's gonna be a great thing, man. I mean, I am so looking forward to this, the next evolution of my life, to see where it goes, to see, you know, how things are, and come drink a beer with Richard on the couch, and he don't know I'm there. Hey, it's gonna be great. You know what? And I dig it why people cry at funerals, but you guys, we have to understand it's just the next step of evolution for us. It's not
Yeah.
one of those things where it's okay, bye, I'll see you later. No, it's not like that, because eventually your time is going to come, and guess what? I'm going to come take your hand and say, "Hey, let's go home." And
Yep.
it's man, I mean, a lot of people really get upset when they're like, "Oh, I got to go. I got to die." Sweetheart, if it's your time, it's your time. Embrace it. Enjoy the moment, because it's just the next evolution of life. And some people, and like you said, Richard, some people might not even want to go. They might prefer that purgatory, and so on and so on. Hey, I've known there's spirits out there in the world. Hell, they don't want to leave their home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I understand that. I'm like, well, shit, man. I can't, if I can't take it with me, I might as well stay here with it. And that's what happens at times.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys. I got a question for you.
What is your favorite piece of equipment you use on an investigation?
That's a very, 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 very commonly asked question.
Um. Hmm. Equipment wise, I'd have to say, mine is a recording device, some kind of digital recorder, and it's just because of that's what we do is concentrate more on vocal EVP work. So yeah, I think my favorite's my old tape recorder.
Mine's always been the SB11 Spirit Box. I love the SB11. That's my favorite.
Hey, if you guys want to ask me, hey, Mel, you got to ask me, and I would tell you, buddy. My favorite device that I like to use is these here, this here. I like to see things from my own eyes and feel things, and just because your eyes sometimes plays tricks on you, and sometimes these cameras can play tricks on you too. But you know what? But if your mind's like, man, did I just see that? And I'm like, yeah, you just saw that, buddy. Then it's gonna be branded in your mind forever. Thinking
Hmm.
like, man, I saw that, and that was fucking cool. You
Or if
know,
you feel, you like your body is the best way to tell if anything's around. You start getting goosebumps, or your hair stands up, or you feel that the temperature change, get cooler, or anything like that. Physical touch, your body's the first thing that's going to feel if anything's around.
right, right. Hey, your body never fails.
Yeah.
Never fails. Guys. Hey, it's it's really hard when you uh try to you're trying to explain things to certain people, and and you want to make people feel as comfortable as you can when you in a residence. So but I want you guys to give me a number, and I want the number on just you guys. uh there's a lot of people out there that have mental issues. You know what I'm saying? A lot of
Hmm.
people who think that they see things when and oh man, I got a ghost in my house. I got this going on. I got that going on. But when you go in and you think and you see, oh man, this is a mental case. This is not a paranormal case. Uh, how many cases like that has been like that with you guys?
I don't know if you've had any like that, have you?
I haven't had any like that.
I've,
We're pretty good about screening them.
I've had a couple that you could tell that it probably wasn't a haunting, that it
Mm-hmm.
was something going on other than that. But if that's what they believe, that their house is haunted, I mean, that's what we're here to do. Is we're here to help people. First and foremost, paranormal investigators. That should be your main thing. Is if if a family or anybody, somebody needs help that thinks they're haunted, you should do everything you could do to help them. And so we're going to investigate regardless to prove out anything, show them whatever, and then offer them advice. If we find it's not haunted, offer them advice. Tell them maybe you should think about maybe just talking to somebody. Sitting down one on one with somebody and talking about what you're experiencing, what's going on. Try to push them in the direction of getting help, not just look at them and go, dude, something's messed up in your head. You know, just try to talk to them and tell them, look, we didn't find anything, but maybe try a different avenue. Maybe try to talk to
Mm-hmm.
somebody. Maybe it's something personal that's causing you to feel this way. Maybe it's something not like mental, like something's wrong with you, but maybe there's something in your mind that's causing this to happen. So if you could talk to somebody, maybe figure it out.
Kind of like with the dehumidifiers. That's what was causing all the EMF. That's what was causing, a lot of the problem.
I don't, that house we did, I don't doubt for a minute. When I went in there and I pulled up the EMF detector, everything maxed out. Their house was so full of EMF. It was horrible. It was making me dizzy.
But we were getting EVPs, we did SBs, we were getting all kinds of reactions. So in the paranormal world, with that much EMF, it was lighting up like, 4th of July for spirits. So, it was attracting everything in the area.
That's what we told them, is it, your house is like a lighthouse. It was like a battery. There was so much EMF. Of course, there's stuff here. It's coming here to charge. It's coming here to draw energy. But once they shut all that stuff off and quit using them, everything went away. So it's the same way with people that may have an issue going on, mental issue. We're going to do everything we can do to either prove or disprove that it's a haunting. And then if it's something with them, then we give them advice of, what maybe they need to do, go talk to somebody, or, not saying you need counseling, but, just maybe sit down and talk to somebody that is more, counsel minded, that could
Right.
maybe you could figure out if it was a traumatic event that's caused your mind to, because your mind can do all kinds of things.
Not to mention
yeah.
that ghosts don't show up when you want them to. They show up when they want to. So
Exactly.
just because we come in someplace and someone may have disabilities or may, have mental issues, and they say they're seeing stuff, they're hearing stuff, they're being dragged out of bed, whatever, just because we didn't pick anything up doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't experience something, So all we can do is show them what we got and tell them what we've seen, and, and just give them the right direction to go, for the next steps.
Cool. Hey guys, let me ask you a question. Can you guys tell me a couple of paranormal investigators that was influence your life? Some of these guys on TV are very influential. Some of them are actually good, compared to some that are bad. Richard, tell me some of these guys out there in the world today that you think that are really positive and really doing great things.
I had a few. David Schrader. Dave Schrader. Love that man to death.
He's wonderful. We just saw him recently.
Yeah, we saw him in
Cajun Country Paracon.
at the Cajun Country Paracon. Dave Schrader, as always, and he's like I am. That's his favorite thing is EVP. He likes the vocal communication. That's what I like to do. John Zaffis, of course, he's the man. He's been there forever. Goodness.
The Wraith Chasers.
Yeah.
Used to be the Tennessee Wraith Chasers.
Guys from Tennessee Wraith Chasers.
Chris and Mike and Scott Porter.
Yeah. Shane Pittman. Shane's a good fella. He's a good investigator. I could go on. There's several, and there's a lot of them that I just, yeah. They're TV personalities, and that's about as far as it goes for me. But like, David Schrader, he's been in the trenches for years. He was a paranormal investigator. He's been all kinds of things, and you want to talk about somebody that if he's at a Paracon, he cares more about us little guys and the vendors and the people that are there than he does about anybody else, himself, anybody. He wants people to go see them, go look at their table or go over here, or go do this, and that's the kind of person he is. He's just all around. David Schrader's just a great guy. He's a great, I love watching him investigate. He's serious about what he does. Shane is, I just, golly, Chris Mancuso
and Brian Kano.
Brian Kano. They're two of the older school guys that been investigating for a long time, that have been on TV.
Adam and Amy.
And it's like, yeah, I've been on TV before, several times, and newspapers, magazines, books. But I don't know. I don't really consider myself like, I'm not famous by no means. Infamous, but not famous. And it's people go, well, why? How come you don't get on TV like on a big show? I told them, I said, look, it's like, okay, in the United States, how many bands are there? There's hundreds of thousands of bands that want a recording contract. Only a couple get it, one here, one there. It's the same way with TV. If you get on TV, it's the same. It's like getting a recording contract. It's just a few. Some guy was looking on Facebook or some guy was looking on YouTube and said, "Oh, I like what they do. Let's make a TV show." And that's basically how you get pulled into it. It's like they see you and there's something unique about you. That's what they want at that given time. And then you see these shows, they come and go. You get a show and then it goes away. And there's a lot of shows that I really like that have gone away that were really good shows, but they just go away. Holzer Files, I was so mad when they didn't renew Holzer Files. It's, Alexandra Holzer, I've been friends with her. I've never met her in person, but I've been friends with her on Facebook since I started ghost hunting. And never put it together that her dad was Hans Holzer, until this show come out. And I was like, wait a minute. So I don't look like, TV's a different beast. The people that are on TV, like David, if he's not on filming somewhere and he's investigating, he's a paranormal investigator. He's not a character on a TV show. He's real. That's what I like, is if you're going to have a TV show, make it real.
Exactly.
Make it real. Don't fake stuff just for, oh gosh, we got to make this fake for ratings. And it happens. And it's production. A lot of it is production. They tell you you're going to do what we tell you, or we'll just cancel the show. Mm-hmm. That's why I tell people you have to divide television with reality. In this field, the people on TV, they're great investigators. There's a lot of them that are amazing people, amazing investigators, but still, when you're on TV, you have a boss. You have a production company that tells you, I don't care what you think or what you heard. This is what I'm telling you heard. This is how I need you to act right now. Come over here. We have to do this interview. We have to do that. And that's TV. It's a whole different beast. And there's a lot of people that are on TV that are just on TV. They're just there to be on TV. And then there's a lot of them that when they're not on TV, they're still out here in the cemeteries, out here in the houses, out there in the trenches like we are, investigating haunted places all the time when they're not filming on TV. And, that's the kind of people that I look up to,
Now, why do you think, because I'll be honest with you guys, there's a war going on between people to the left and people to the right. People to the left are criticizing the people to the right. Now, the people to the left are all the ones that are, out here in the world that are, trying to make content from, laptops, and so on and so on. But these people are here are all the YouTubers that, that are, putting all their content on YouTube and letting the world decide if it's what they say it is, and I'm not saying that some of these guys don't, on the computer and make stuff up, but some of these guys on the YouTube, they're not in it for the money. They might be, and they're in it for something a little bit less.
For views.
But yet they leave it up to people, everyday people, to decide if what they caught, on half the time, they don't even know that they caught it till they come home and review it, and they, it, to me, I think these YouTubers are a little more factual than the guys over here to the left who are doing the same thing, but editing their content.
I think it's because the YouTubers are letting people discover it for themselves. Like, see what you can see. See what, do you see anything? Versus the other guys who are like, oh, there's nothing in here, let's put stuff in there. But
It's really hard, man, because I think these YouTubers, they're doing a great job. Have you ever watched New Top 5?
Hmm.
And all he does is bring in amateur video, and at not one point did he say this, that. He's always said, hey, what you guys think?
Yeah.
What you guys decide? If you decide something, please leave in the comments. I mean, it's not one time that he, said something, that it's this, it's that, yeah, it's actually going on. No, he's never said that. So if I was to lean my way, I would have to lean my way towards the YouTubers. And trust me, guys, if you guys are listening in on any of the platforms tonight, or you guys are watching this podcast show, hey, I respect what you guys, said. I totally do, but we have to look at, there's no reason for these guys to fake anything, because they're not in it for the money. Most of them are young. Most of them are ages between the ages of 18 to 25.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard, man. When you want to be able to put content out, and and you got a billion people over here saying like, well, no, man, that's not real, and you got people over here that's going to defend what you put out, but yet you want to be able to say, hey, you decided, just put in the content, man. I mean, I'm not trying to, make a lot of money off of this. I'm not trying to do this, trying to do that. I just want you guys to tell me what you think. Your opinion matters to me.
Right.
And it's crazy how you got people to the left that are, just jumping all over these guys. And for what? The guys to the left are trying to make, guys to the right. They don't, they have their YouTube is about as far as they go, with their content. It doesn't go on their Facebook.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They're not asking for a big $1 billion contract. They're not asking for all of this. But I see, the fisticuffs among the two, about, what's real and what's fake. And to me, it's giving me a headache. What do you guys think about?
We're losing you again.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Here we go.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about that?
About what?
About so? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, there you are.
You know what? I'm going to stop. Right.
Is that better?
Oh,
yeah, but
tons.
Cheap headphones. Yeah, man. It seemed like if you guys didn't hear me earlier, I'm gonna take those things back. It's not fair for the right to be, judged on certain things, but when the left is the ones that's causing all the madness and mayhem,
Yeah.
on what they're doing.
Hmm.
And so
Well,
it's
that's my
kind of
thing is,
crazy how all
you
that
know,
works.
that all comes down to that whole pair unity thing. Um, you know, we all need to work together and help each other get this field up and going like it should be, and not be bashing each other. Oh man, your stuff's fake or whatever, because if you're a paranormal investigator, you can watch these videos that people put online, and you can tell right off the bat whether it's made up or if it's for real. If they're for real and they're just posting content, look, this is what we got last night at this house that we went to, or this cemetery we went to, or whatever. And then there are those guys who go out there and produce videos where they got their little buddies in the back room pulling stuff with strings and all this other stuff. There's a lot of false videos, but there's a lot of real ones too. And the bad thing is you got to be able to just don't just go jumping on somebody because they put a video online and you think it oh, that's fake or whatever. It's not for us to decide.
No, it's not. You're absolutely right.
They're just it's like it. Us being paranormal investigators, we're only going to put real stuff online, and there's a difference between a paranormal investigator and a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them are filmmakers. They're making paranormal films. They're not investigating. They're making a film. They're being characters. It is what it is. And it's always going to be that way. You just have to you got to discern whether is this real or scroll on. It's not for us to bash them. Just if you don't like it, that's the magic of technology. Keep on scrolling. Go to the next one.
To me, it's the same as these influencers that use all these filters and everything. And then you find out, oh, well, she's not a 26-year-old blonde. She's a 64-year-old, 700-pound brunette. You know what I mean? Like it's the court of public opinion. And, people have the right to post what they want to post. And if you believe it, that's on you.
AI is amazing these days,
Yeah, it is. But you better
they can
watch
make
out
anything look like anything. So
yeah, AI, man. You know one thing about AI? If these guys that are putting that out have not learned anything from all the AI movies that are out to now, all that, it all seems to fail in the movies. You know what I'm saying? Look at the Terminator, iRobot. There are so many different types of movies where AI, everything wants to evolve. And I think AI is going to do it eventually. Mm-hmm. Now, to a certain point, I don't know, but whatever it is, I hope they catch it before it's too late.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I really do. Hey, tell me a little bit about Pensacola, man. How haunted is Pensacola? Besides Native Americans.
There's tons of haunted homes. Because we have houses that are here from, the oldest one is like 1810, somewhere right around there. But Pensacola, as far as people coming here, has been, the Spanish were here in the 1500s. There were Spanish forts in Pensacola that are built on top of now. So, and not to mention, I'm sure graveyards everywhere. Hey, Justin. There's cemeteries that we read about and we've looked into that down on the beach, Pensacola Beach. There was an old cemetery down there. They moved what they could find, built a condominium on the top of the cemetery.
Wow, you're kidding, right?
No. Nope. And they moved the remains. The thing is at the beach, the sand eventually over time, it's like sandpaper, it just eventually they can't find any remains, but the spot where the cemetery was at, it's now a condo. So,
ooh, I don't want to move in that cemetery.
There's a couple of Potter's Fields here. It's just a big field, but it was a cemetery. We have one that they just found. It's a park. Has a playground, this little building there. It's just a nice, pretty park and part of a road that's built over a cemetery.
That's crazy.
Because back then, they buried somebody, you buried them, you put a little wooden cross there, cross walks away. Nobody knows any different. And then one day they come and clear the lot off. Well, of course, there's nothing there. So they just assume there's nothing there and build on top of it. You know,
Dead Man's Island.
I mean, we got that place here, Dead Man's Island. They've excavated some remains from there. A lot of the old houses and businesses downtown, have hauntings.
Pensacola Lighthouse, because we have so many Navy and we have so many Navy bases over here and Air Force bases. The Pensacola Lighthouse, that's haunted. We've gone in there several times, and it was funny because there's so many steps in the Pensacola Lighthouse that you go up it and you have to keep stopping. They have these little like inset windows where you can stop and take a break. When we went to St. Augustine, we're doing the lighthouse. We're like, oh, this is a cute little lighthouse. You did it once. After doing the Pensacola Lighthouse, it was a cute little lighthouse over there in St. Augustine.
It's a Pensacola Lighthouse. I'm going to tell you, it's a trip to get to the top. You got to stop and take a break every now and then. It's a long ways up, but it's haunted. They just cleared a bunch of land next to it, and for years I've known there was stuff over there, and they found some graves, some headstones next to the lighthouse. They found a foundation of an old cabin and other stuff that was in the woods there that it was just overgrown. There's a lot of buildings that are on the Navy base on NAS. My dad worked there, and he said that there was one building in particular they had to get out and actually walk through the building every night when my dad was a police officer on the base. And he said he walked around the corner. He said, and I'm telling you as clear as day, there was a lady that was standing in the hallway and she looked just like Aunt Jemima. She had the rag, a do-rag on her head, old dress, everything. And he said, I turned my head, I looked back, and she was gone. He said, but I'm telling you, I saw her. And then one night they were all sitting around on a break, and another guy started talking about it. And he said, well, I guess I can say something now because somebody else has seen her too. Right. So, I mean, the Admiral's house is supposed to be haunted. There's a lot. It's because it's on the base. It's just hard to be able to investigate things on a Navy base. So, like during the day we can go. There's a Fort Barrancas is on NAS. There's spirits there, so we can go there during the daytime, and goof around during the day. We have Fort Pickens, Fort Morgan, and like where Fort Morgan is like that's home to me. That's where I cut my teeth as a paranormal investigator.
I transplanted him from Alabama over here to Florida.
Yeah, so I lived over there. And Fort Morgan has always been like my heart as far as a haunted place. There's so much there. I've seen, three full body apparitions there. You hear cannon fire, you hear gunshots, bells ringing, EVPs just.
He investigated Fort Morgan so much that another group that we were friends with let us know they were doing an investigation at Fort Morgan. This was years and years ago. And they were doing an EVP session, and they got an EVP that said, "Where's Richard?"
Oh, is asking for me. Richard? I was there every weekend just about investigating, and it would ask for they got an EVP. It was asking for me. Where's Richard? So I don't know if you watched a lot of Josh Gates shows, Destination X. Expedition X. A picture of a ghost that I took, they used as a basis of their investigation for that show, for that episode. Well, it was actually two. They had to do 2 episodes. There was so much going on. Expedition X, I think it was season 5, episode 4 and 5. It's like Ghost Fort or whatever. But they actually caught a full body apparition on camera that while they were investigating there too. So it's a really haunted place. that's my thing. It's a lot of these places I used to go to. Now it's become, this field has become so, I guess you could just call it commercialized. You know,
Yep.
it's all about, oh, well, our place is haunted, so, you know, we should really just charge the crap out of people to come in here and investigate. Because now you got places like Fort Morgan, I used to go there for free. That, you know, the guy would just let me investigate, and now it's $500.
Woo!
Yes, from 6 to midnight for 6 hours. It's $500.
I give you 500 pennies.
So, you know, and there's a lot of places that are like that now that you know, started out as just, it was a rundown place, and, you know, but it was haunted. So that's where everybody was going. But now it's gotten so commercialized, you know, and people want to go, and people want to experience, you know, they want to go to these events. There we go. Let me see. I'm gonna hold it up. Let's see. I got to get this right here.
Okay, cool.
Let me turn this off. There, maybe you can see it better now. There we go.
Wow.
That's the picture that he took that we sent to Expedition X.
And they used it as the basis of their investigation. So yeah, that night I walked around the corner. It was about 4:00 in the morning, and we were investigating, and it had been really active all night. And I was just like, look, you know, I said, I've been running around this fort all night. I said, just let me get one photograph of you, and I will leave you alone. And I literally walked around the corner into this room, and he was standing there, and I could see the buttons on his uniform. And I'm standing there looking at him, and he's looking at me, and I'm like, you know, what do I do? And then I'm like, get your camera, stupid, you know?
Right.
And so I took a picture, and that's as he was like a mist, turning into a mist. But when I first saw him, he was just as solid as somebody was standing there. And that's all of them that I've seen. 3.5. One was just legs. But I've seen 3 there, and they were as solid as a human. You know, solid as like we are, you know, and it was just kind of like he didn't really, looking at him, it's like he didn't see me, but I could see him. It was like almost like he was just looking through me. But it was just strange, you know. It looked like an old-timey movie almost. You know, kind of flickery, black and white, really not much color to it, but I mean, you could see every detail. He had one of those like mustaches that come over and a little goatee here. I mean, that's how plain I could see him.
I think the forts are my favorite. I think forts are definitely my favorite to investigate. Even our granddaughter, you know, we took her on base. Was it Barrancas? We took her to Fort Barrancas, and there's no power in there. And we gave her a K2, and we're walking around. It's a big square, right? And we're walking around, and her K2 just starts straight to red.
And just stays there, and like pegged out.
And he gets excited. He's like, Addie, look. And she's like throwing him the K2, like, here
you take it. I don't want that no more.
And as soon as he took the K2, it stopped. And we gave the K2 back to her. And she said, why is it going off? I said, well, maybe you remind them of their child or a child they left behind. And she said, do I remind you of your little girl? And it pegged all the way to red again. And the activity that she had was the only activity that we had gotten. And this was in the middle of the day.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know, people ask, why do y'all go at night? I think it's just because the dark is more of it makes it more exciting.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like all these gadgets that we have nowadays. You know, when I used to go something, we had a camera and something to record with. You know, you went with a digital camera or a Polaroid camera or whatever you had, and some, you know, a tape recorder. And people say, well, what about all this? I say, you know, to go and look for ghosts, that's all you need. You need yourself take a camera and something to record, audio with.
My best picture ever was at the Myrtles Plantation, and it was at 9:00 in the morning. 9:00 in the morning. It's right here. We were just sitting around. We had eaten breakfast, and he and his friend were talking, and I just sat there, just took picture, going around. And then I just sat there, blew up every picture, and there she was, 9:00 in the morning, and I got a full-bodied apparition.
I don't know if you can. Yeah, this
Is
this lady here, not the one in the black pants, but the one standing behind the bush there. There we go.
Is that Chloe?
No, it's not Chloe.
That's another lady. And, we don't know if it's the lady that owned the house or what. That was at the Myrtles.
You can see the pampas grass through her.
Right, I can see right through her. That's very interesting.
That was at 9:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
that tells you it don't have to be night for you to catch.
No. Mm-mm.
It's just the nighttime thing. I think is mostly it's mostly just because it's more exciting in the dark, and it does help with being able to see them better and being able to
people feel the veil is thinner.
Yeah, photography is better. It works better at night.
Right. But I totally agree with you at that.
If they're there. And the Myrtles, that place, the Myrtles Plantation. Yeah, there's some serious stuff going on. Yeah, I mean, I literally saw a lady's earring.
We were in the middle of the day
after breakfast. I just got done eating. I was standing at a little counter and I was talking to the lady behind the counter, and she had on these longer, dangly earrings. And I watched her earring go straight out, and it started pulling her ear, and she's like, "Ow!" and it fell off on the counter. And she was just like, "Chloe, stop!" And she picked it up, and put it back in her ear. I was like, going, "Oh, what just happened?" And she was like, "It happens all the time. It's not really a big deal." But I was like, "Man, it's a big deal to me. I watched it happen." So, I mean, but we've been all over the place. I've been because she started doing it with me, but for years, I was doing it before we started doing it together. So, I've been to Waverly Hills, I've been Gettysburg, St. Augustine, all over the place, But I think my favorite place, always comes home, my favorite place in the world to investigate is Fort Morgan.
What Morgan?
Fort Morgan in Gulf Shores, Alabama. To me, it is one of the most haunted places that I've been to.
And this crazy man walks around, no flashlights. He does not use flashlights at all.
I don't like lights when I'm investigating. I walk around in the pitch black, like in the dark.
Yeah. Now me, no, I got flashlight. No, I got a flashlight.
Tree, huh?
Him, no.
To me.
Interesting. Hey guys, why do you think more spirits have more power? I mean, more energy than others?
That goes back to that learning thing. I think they just learn how to manipulate things better to draw more energy. There's some spirits that can move things that others can't.
Or do you think maybe it's because negative energy is a little bit more conductive than positive energy? I mean, I don't know. It's weird how that seems to work.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be. I mean, there are, it does seem that negative things, when people go into that, like demonic kind of stuff, which I don't know.
And yet the power of God always.
Yeah. To me, it's, I've been doing this long enough where I know, I've had a couple of cases that were bad. The hauntings were bad. Whatever was there was bad. Very, very rarely is an investigator going to run into something where there's an actual demon or a demonic presence
Mhm.
that's there.
Those are extremely rare.
Most of the time, it's just, I mean, I'm sorry, but my opinion is that there's people that, in life, you have nice people, you have mean people. Okay. It's going to be the same way on the other side. You got nice people and mean people. You have people that are happy people. You have people that are grumpy people. You run into a grouchy ghost and immediately, oh, it's a demon, I don't, I'm sorry, but if you get scratched, I'm not saying that, there's too many people that jump and say, oh, I got scratched. Look, 3 scratches is the mark of the sign of the Trinity or whatever. How do you know that? Or, no, I've been scratched. I've been pushed, slapped. I mean,
He was slapped out of a room.
I got slapped. I had a handprint across my face.
What did you do?
It freaked me out. I went outside and had to take a break. I had to walk away for a little while.
Got an EVP that said you might die here.
The EVP on a recorder, you hear the smack and you hear you might die here.
Hey, do you guys own a cat?
Yes.
Yeah, 2.
We got 2 of them.
I see one right behind you.
Yeah, he's running around in here. Got one
No,
there.
he was on the counter.
That was Harley.
Harley. He's an asshole.
Yeah, that's the gray cat. We have a big black cat and a gray cat.
The other one.
That's the other one here. He don't do nothing but sleep on the back of the couch.
He's a fat one.
And a German Shepherd.
He's a fat cat.
And our ghosts in our house. So our house is haunted too. Our house is weird though. It's like we live with a bunch of old fat people or something, because our main thing in our house that happens is we smell food cooking.
Oh wow!
And it'll be at like 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning, you'll wake up
bacon
and you're like,
and toast.
Who's cooking?
Wow!
And it smells. Our whole house smells like cooking bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Now, would you guys ever I'm pretty sure in Pensacola, in Florida, there's a lot of urban legends. Would you guys ever consider investigating an urban legend?
Yeah. I mean, there's some stuff like, there's different legends and places that are, you would think that maybe would be haunted by certain people that we've looked into. Ted Bundy was here. At one of the buildings,
we have friends that are very into Bigfoot, looking into Bigfoot, that kind of stuff. But
and the swamp apes or whatever they're called,
skunk apes,
yeah.
Stinky apes.
I have a different opinion about Bigfoot. So, but we do have, they say skunk apes are around here, or, you're supposed to smell them and then you see them. That close by here over Milton, they say they've seen, like a Bigfoot type creature over there. So, I mean, I haven't went out and I've been on one Bigfoot hunt the whole time I've been doing investigations. And I don't know, I sit out in the woods and listen to a bunch of people howl and make noises and beat on trees with sticks all night. Never heard a thing. So, I mean, I'm not saying, but I mean, I have a different opinion. Like, you think about what we do. We look for ghosts, but we look for more modern time ghosts, But if you think about it, if there's ghosts now, okay, all the way back through history, all the way back through time, when men looked like they were big, hairy, Neanderthal, giant men, giant people that were huge. What's to say Bigfoot's not a ghost of a Neanderthal?
Could be.
You really, they never find bodies. They,
appear and disappear.
Footprints, but I've seen footprints made by ghosts in baby powder.
Yeah. All right. Question, guys. I got a question for you. What tours do you guys recommend in Florida around Cocoa Beach?
Oh, Cocoa Beach. I have no idea, because Cocoa Beach is a very, very, very long way from here.
Yeah. Like I said, we're up here. Cocoa Beach is like down there.
Yeah, Cocoa Beach is like way down, way down Florida,
Mhm.
like down toward way down there. We're way up here. We're almost Alabama, Florida.
We're literally what,
Alabama.
45 minutes from
Yeah,
Alabama?
I mean, you got to figure for us. People say, "Well, it's just Florida," but for us to drive from here to Key West is what 18 hours.
18 hours.
18 hours. So that's like me driving from here to New Jersey.
Or driving to Texas. Well, guys, you know what? A couple more questions, and I'm gonna get you guys out of here. Get out of there. Hold on. Yeah, well, St. Augustine was fun, Mr. Justin.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask your wife this question because I think I have an idea on what your answer might be. We mentioned schools earlier, and I said I'll come back to it. There's a lot of schools here in Texas that are going, if they're not done already, open up they're going to open up a study about the paranormal, psychology, and they're going to do it at the university level also. What would you have to say about that? Would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, there were other schools that have done paranormal classes, and they've worked out really well for them. Mm-hmm. Where they learn about the technology, they learn about EMF and but I mean, how do you grade somebody on that? Because a lot of it is personal experience, and nobody really goes into ghost hunting without having had some kind of experience. I don't know anybody who has never experienced anything paranormal in their life that goes, I think I'm going to hunt ghosts. So in order to get in that class, you would have to have had some kind of paranormal experience, mm-hmm. In which case at some point in time, you would have to open that up to the class, mm-hmm. Which would open yourself up to being ridiculed by the rest of the school.
Well, it's like, what you call it? The TV show.
Which one? Paranormal State?
Yeah, Paranormal State. The TV show, Paranormal State. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were a group of college kids, and that was
in Pennsylvania.
That was their thing for college was
Ryan Beal and Katrina Weidman was in there.
Katrina was in there. Brian. That's what they did for college. They were a group of college students that investigated the paranormal. So,
but then again, like I said, it's very difficult to weigh out the good versus the bad. So then how do you keep your students safe? How do you know what you're bringing them into is safe for them? Because if they have anything, we have investigators that will be like, okay, well, if you're going through your divorce, then we need you to sit out on this one. Or if you just, I'm sorry about your mother passing, but you need to sit out on this one. Because if you're in an emotional turmoil or you have something going on, then you're open to have something attached to you. So how do you protect these kids from that?
Well, I think what they're going to do is, I don't think an actual an investigation is going to be, especially at the high school level. I don't think they will put those kids out into in harm's way like that. Now,
but if you think about it, that's like you give them sex ed and then tell them don't go have sex, and what's the first thing they do?
Yeah.
So if you're teaching them about the paranormal, you say, look, we have all this cool stuff. Just don't go do it. The first thing they're going to do is get a band of them together and go to the first haunted house or presumed haunted house they could find.
Yep.
And who knows what kind of trouble they're going to get into.
But I mean, as far as like, I think it would be a good course as far as the factual stuff about, you know.
I think I would prefer being in college rather than in high school.
Because I mean, like, you know, parapsychology, and then, you know, more about the study of, like, you know, EMF. This, you know, they teach them about what it would do to you, what it does to the environment, you know, what happens to a human when they're exposed to it. You know, look more like the book kind of stuff instead of more
of the science of it.
Yeah, the science instead of the actual investigation, in more like, you know, what causes paranormal, you know, what are the causes of it, what, you know, things like that.
But if that did happen, imagine all the new equipment that would come out of it.
Speaking of new equipment, man, Richard, man, we're both the same age. I'm 28, you're 28. And
you're 29, Richard. Don't lie.
Well, he's 28, you know. And you know what, man? We are 75 years from the next century.
Yep.
Can you imagine? How do you think the next group of paranormal investigators would be?
As much as has happened in probably the, you know, just say the last 10 years, as far as technology and equipment, things that people are building. And now, like I said, none of it's in exact science. But when you look at some of this stuff that these people are building, say, you know, even spirit boxes, there's some spirit boxes that I'm amazed at how much stuff they get, you know, when they're asking questions, they're getting direct responses. You know, some of these people that build all these spirit boxes and stuff. I need a cord. My phone's gonna die.
Is that your cord?
No, I need a charging cord.
Okay, come down.
You know, and then in the past 10 years, how much equipment has changed. 20 years from now, oh my gosh, boy, I sure hope I'm alive to see what kind of stuff they come up with. Because as advanced as it is now, imagine in 20 years from now. You know,
imagine
somebody's going to come up with some way to directly communicate with, you know, like direct communication.
Now, we're talking 75 years from now. Can you imagine that?
Well, shoot, they're still freezing people's brains and freezing people. I mean,
75 years from now, you may just, you know, oh, I'm gonna go over here and talk to these, you know, to these spirits. You know, like, you know, there might be you just pick up your cell phone and, hey, you know, somebody finally figured out a way to branch their side and our side together. By then, we don't know.
Now, let's say, for an example, Richard, that your wife invented a box like that. All she got to do, she was something in her brain and her mind told her, hey, I'm going to go down to the basement. I don't know if y'all have one. And we're going to, and she said, Richard, let me borrow some tools, man. You're like, what the hell do you need my tools for? You know, and you're like, well, I got something on my mind. I want to build, you know. So you're like, okay, well, here's a hacksaw. Here's this, here's that, whatever, you know, a little, you know, just whatever. She got your tools all over the place, but the job is done. She comes up out of that basement and is like, Richard, bam, I built this box. And you know what, Richard? And you're like, man, it looked just like a box to me. Shit, what the hell? But she was like, well, Richard, hit this switch because something told me to do it. So you hit this switch. No, she hits the switch. You stand back because you get this big this EMP pulse, and it, all your hair on your arms stand up. And you're probably like, man, how in the hell did you even do this with my tools? You know what I'm saying? And suddenly a vortex opens up. And you're like, wow, babe, do you see this? And she's like, Richard, shut up, I'm watching. And you know what? And you see people from the other side going about their everyday lives, man. You got people shopping, walking down the street, with this and with that baggage. Hey, man, you even see somebody over there with a case of Budweiser. And I'm like, well, shit, man. They whoever's on the other side is doing great things over there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now, with that type of technology, and then what's so crazy, Richard, you seen your great-great-great-grandfather. He comes into your reality and just sits and have a conversation with you. Then he's like, well, grandson, I see you done a great thing. And he goes back and continue doing what he's doing. And he said, well, hey, anytime you want to visit me, just hit that switch and call my name. I'm here. I will come. Okay. Now, would you allow her to share that technology with the world, or would you put that back on the shelf for 50 years till you think that the world is ready for it?
That'd be a hard one.
It would be a hard one because you don't allow me to do nothing. Well, first of all, we don't start with that, can I use your tools? Because when we got married, what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine. There's none of this 50-50. No, 100% of your stuff is mine and 100% of my stuff is mine. And I will do what I want with my box. You have no rules over my box. My box is my box, and I might still let you talk to me after I make my $1 billion on my box.
Yep. I don't know, though. Something like that, shoot, man.
I would keep it to myself.
That'd be a hard decision because there'd be people out there that want to use it for something other than
there'd be someone calling up Hitler or something.
Well, and not to mention they'd be trying to figure out a way to go over there and and use it for bad stuff instead of what it should have been used for. And that's the thing is, if it ever gets that advanced, where you could move back and forth.
My thing is that humans innately are overreactive creatures. So you can't give them that much technology at one time. Like, I'm still trying to figure out my cell phone. So you can't give them that much technology. So I would keep it to myself because as soon as the government found out you made that, yeah, I'd be wearing an orange jumpsuit. And orange, like my coloring, no. I don't look good in orange.
Why an orange jumpsuit?
They'd
lock me up.
You can't share this with anybody.
And you can't build another one. They'll put me where I can't make no trouble.
Your mind will only allow you to build that one. So once you build that one, the technology that you have in your brain to build that is going to go away.
Yes, but the government wouldn't believe me if I told them I couldn't build another one. So they'd lock me up, try to get me to build another one. See, I'm from New York, so I know how this works. So they would lock me up until I built them another one. So I would die in prison in an ugly orange jumpsuit. No makeup, not able to get my hair done, nothing.
Richard, I'm sorry I brought it up.
He didn't know I was from New York when he brought it up.
No, that's all right.
I'm sorry, man. If I knew it was gonna get that bad on you, bro, I would never would have brought it up. But
The two words you never use with a woman are let and obey. No, those two. I took obey out of the wedding vows.
My boy.
Yes.
Ooh-wee. I'm scratching my head on that one. So you would put it back on the shelf until you think mankind is ready.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that would be the best.
I think that would be the best too, because not only that, let's say for an example that you did decide to put it out. Can you imagine what kind of implications that it would have on on our planet as a whole? How religions would crumble.
Yep.
You know, when there's no religion, there's no boundaries because religion set boundaries for certain things. So I think that would be an invitation for war, famine, and so on and so on. So with you guys putting it back on the shelf, I think you guys might actually save the world.
See? That's why women should be in charge.
That's why.
See? I keep telling you.
Be like,
listen to your wife more.
Be like, this is just for us. You go in the basement, talk to Grandpa, turn it off, and put it back up on the shelf.
And get my dad to come up here and set you straight.
What the? Oh, man. Well, you know what, guys? Man, I didn't mean to open up that box. I didn't mean to open up that box.
He thought I was the quiet one. He has no idea.
Man. Hey, but you know what? I respect that, you know, and I think that would be the right thing to do. Because when I've asked people on other podcasts that question, you know, they have a lot of justification on why the world should have it, you know, and I see both sides of it, you know. I really don't have an opinion either or. You know, I can see, you know, letting it out. I can see keeping it in. You know, either way, there's a lot of positives and a lot of negatives when you do one or the other. But
yeah, I mean, if it was just a communication device where you could just talk to people, it'd be, you know. But if you if you wanted to, you know, if some way it was where you could move from here to there and from there to here, that'd be a whole different, you know, because there would be too many people that will want to use something where you could travel interdimensionally for bad. You know?
Yeah. I think you're right there, brother. Hey, one more question before I get you out of here. Where would you like to go on your bucket list to investigate? And it can't be the one you mentioned on the podcast.
God, there's so many. I think one that I really, really, really want to do is the Conjuring House.
Okay.
I find it interesting. Matter of fact, I was watching about it the other night. Just what all these people, all the families and stuff that lived there went through. And I know a couple of people that have investigated there, and they said, you know, they got a lot of evidence. And so I really think it would be, you know, I would be a good place to investigate. There's some, I think there's a lot of places that are probably a little bit, you know, overrated as far as, you know, you're going to go there and then it's not much going to happen, but it's just because it's a scary place. But, you know, that's the kind of places I like old houses and, and things instead of like, a big giant asylum or, and I'd like to do, Rushy, what is it called? Rushy Mountain, Brushy Mountain, prison, in Tennessee. I'd like to go there and do an overnight there.
Okay, cool.
So I've already been to Waverly Hills.
So nothing internationally.
Oh shoot! Don't get me started. I would Scotland. You wouldn't get me out of those castles. But around here, I mean, yeah. But like, I'd love to go to Scotland and Ireland, of course, just because they have way older history than we have here. Their history goes back so much further there than it does here. With the castles. When I was in the army, I was stationed in Germany, and I was in Darmstadt. So where I was at Cambrai Fritz Kaserne in Darmstadt, Germany, and the Frankenstein Castle was probably a mile and a half from our little post there. So I went to Frankenstein Castle all the time. Yeah, very cool place. You get a lot of strange feels and all that. It was on Ghost Hunters International. That was one of our good shows, and that's another guy that I really, really look up to. Barry Fitzgerald.
He's pretty cool.
He's good people. They investigated Frankenstein Castle on Ghost Hunters International too, so it was on there. We were watching it not long ago. And it's cool to see it on TV and go, I stood right there,
Oh wow!
So
cool. All right, young lady, where would you like to go on your bucket list?
Oh, definitely. I mean, definitely Ireland and Scotland. Those are Scotland for the castles, Ireland because that's where my people are from. County Cork, Ireland.
Don't you from New York?
Her maiden name is Mullins.
Colleen show Mullins, yeah.
She's super Irish.
I'm only second generation American, so.
Okay. You want to go?
Oh yeah, I can.
Here, around in the United States.
Well, Brushy Mountain, of course, I was saying, but I want to go to Vicksburg. I've been telling him I want to go to Vicksburg for a long time.
You don't want to go back?
I want to go back to Gettysburg.
What about go back to New York?
No.
Huh?
I'm taking him up north in November for the Paracon in New Jersey.
For the New Jersey Para-Unity.
Because I still have two sisters who live up there, so I'm going to bring them up there for the Paracon. But it's funny because I was born in New York. I grew up in Jersey, and back then that was before Giuliani cleaned New York up. That was when you couldn't walk through Central Park. You took your life in your hands when you went on the subways, and everyone's like, "Oh, I can't wait to go to New York City." I'm like, "Why?" Like that's when you grow up with it, it's kind of like we live at the beach here, and we never go to the beach. When you live in a big city, you want to go somewhere else. When you live at the beach, you want to go to the mountains. When you live in the mountains, you want to go to the city.
Richard, take this woman to the beach.
We go. We take
the grandbaby.
I turned her into river people. We'd rather go to the river and go swimming.
There you go.
That's a lot better.
There's a very haunted location in New York City that nobody really talks about, and it's called the Island of the Dead.
Yes.
You wouldn't want to go there? I mean, it would be cool to go there if you were able to get on there. Well, that would be interesting.
We just watched something about that not long ago.
Yeah. We did.
Richard,
we
get us a boat, man. We're going.
Yeah.
All we need is a boat.
That's all we need. A boat.
We need a bigger boat.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. You guys turn around and see that light in the kitchen?
Uh-huh.
That light gets so bright at times. Then it goes, then it pulsates again. Last time it got really bright.
We told you the house is haunted.
Hey, we don't pay no attention to none of that anymore. It just happens.
Wow. I don't see how
We
you
have
guys.
we have a haunted rocking chair that was owned by it was given to us by a lady. It was her mother's rocking chair, and none of the kids will sit on it. None of the grandkids will sit on it. The cats won't sit on it. I put boxes on it one day. Went into the bedroom, came out. The boxes were on the floor. And so, if I clean it or something, or if I have to move it to vacuum, I'm like, all right, Grandma, I'm cleaning the chair. All right, Grandma, I'm moving the chair. Because,
Just sit there watching you clean, huh?
Yep. It's crazy. That's some of the things. I mean,
when we first moved here, he takes 3 blood pressure medicines. And when we first moved here into this house 2 years ago, he couldn't find any of his blood pressure medicine. Don't know what happened to it. We had everything packed. We had everything else. Could not find. We searched everywhere for them. And I worked for the hospital, so I was like, all right, well, Monday I'll get you some more, and talk to your doctor, have him prescribe some more. And the next morning we woke up and all 3 of the bottles were lined up on the dresser.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Can you? That would be
with Grandma. So
yeah, our house is. And it's what it is. It happens.
Do you guys have cameras set up in there?
Not inside.
Nah.
Oh, you got to get them inside.
Our our Alexa, we wake up in the morning and it'll be just blaring wide open, music. Just playing music, and of course you have to say, Alexa, play whatever, and we'll wake up in the morning to it just jamming out in here in the living room, so.
Oh,
well, wow. We didn't set up cameras inside because up until this past week, we still had 1 child living at home.
We're empty nesters.
Empty nesters.
They're all gone.
The last one moved out. And so that one, that one, we didn't want to freak them or their fiance out by having cameras everywhere. They didn't even like having Alexa over there. So, yeah.
Hey, she doesn't bother anybody. She's humble. She's cool.
I mean, just start talking for no reason. Like, it'll just go, oh, I don't know how to find that, or it'll just say something random.
The answer to that.
I don't have the answer to that.
Wow.
And I'm like, huh? So, I think that something's over there going, Alexa.
Well, whoever it is, man.
This one's not as haunted as the house that we left. I had lived in Gulf Breeze for 30 years before we moved over here, and in the same house for 17 years. And that one, man, we had so much stuff in that house.
Gulf Breeze.
Oh my God, yeah. Gulf Breeze is the town next to Pensacola.
Yeah, it's right next to Pensacola. So
it goes Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Pensacola Beach.
Yeah, they had that famous UFO sighting in the ocean.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah, yep. But that one had a lot more. There was a neighborhood ghost. We called him Tony. It was a 50-something-year-old man in a one of them old
terry cloth robe.
Yeah, like Ricky Ricardo used to wear on I Love Lucy.
Oh, really?
That's what it looked like. And you'd see him all over the place. You'd hear him making coffee in the morning. You'd hear the mug, and you'd hear him making coffee in the morning. Then you go in the kitchen, there's nobody there.
But not just our house.
No, all over the neighborhood.
All our neighbors around us.
Mm-hmm.
We would all talk about this old man. Mm-hmm. And I think it was just something with the land there, that maybe that was where maybe he owned it at one time, but you just randomly see him into the hallway or
he'd be,
in the kitchen.
While I'm doing the dishes, I look up, he's behind me, I turn around, he's gone.
So,
yeah, Tony.
Wow.
Yep.
So we just called him Tony.
Not knowing what his real. Do you guys know what his real name is?
No, I have no idea. We just called him Tony.
The only EVP we ever got from him is because he kept locking the deadbolt. In that house, you need the key to lock the deadbolt from the outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was one point he was at work, and I left to go pick the kids up from their various after-school activities. And I was the only one at home at the time. And I only locked the handle lock because locking the deadbolt's a pain in the butt, right? So I locked the handle lock, closed the door, Go pick up the kids, come back, deadbolt's locked. I'm like, what the heck? And this happened several times. And then it started happening on our bedroom door. We had an ensuite bathroom that didn't have a lock on it. Well, I went in my bedroom, went into the bathroom, come out, my bedroom door's locked. And this happened several times. And then I was running on the treadmill, listening to my iPod, back in the day, listening to my iPod, singing loudly off key, right? And all of a sudden, someone in my ear said, hey. Took off my iPod, threw it over the treadmill still running, iPod still going, went outside, chain smoked about 4 cigarettes, called Richard on the phone, said, where are you? He's like, I'm on my way home now. Why? And I said, because someone talked to me. He said, what do you mean someone talked to you? I said, someone talked to me and no one's here. So he came home and he did an EVP session. And he said, are you the one that's been locking all the doors? And they said, yeah. And he said, are you the one that's been bothering my wife? And he said, yeah. And he said, you need to leave my wife alone because I can get rid of you and you know I can. And he said, clear as day, let me stay.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
So we
Didn't
let
have
him
a problem
stay.
with him after that.
You know, after that, it kind of settled down, but you'd still, you know, you'd see him look down the hall. He'd be standing at the end of the hall, or, you know, you'd hear him in the kitchen. Neighbors have said the same thing. They said this guy drinks a lot of coffee because you would hear, you know, like the spoon rattling on a cup, on a coffee cup, stuff like that.
Yeah, he would, my son would be alone in the house, getting, you know, taking a shower, getting ready to go to work or whatever. No one else is home. And he'd hear cabinets opening and closing in the kitchen, knocking on the doors and stuff. And he was alone in the house.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but he stayed over there in Gulf Breeze.
Yeah.
He didn't come with us.
He didn't come over here with us, so that's why I think he was kind of more attached to the land over
To the
there
land.
for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, Richard, it's man, we're going on 2 hours, and it's we can talk forever about this. I mean,
You know,
it's-
time flies when you're having fun, right?
yes, sir. Hey, tell the world how to get a hold of you guys.
You can get us through Facebook. We have a Instagram. I have Instagram for Ethereal Voices Paranormal. We're on Facebook. My personal Richard Johnson, or Ethereal Voices Paranormal, or Richard Johnson Paranormal Investigator, all on Facebook. We have a YouTube channel that we just got started, so I think it only got like 3 videos on there so far. We're working on it. So yeah, Facebook. We don't have really a website yet. We got to work on that too. So, but social media mostly. And we're attending some events. We were just at the what was it? Cajun Country Paracon in New Iberia, Louisiana. It was a great event.
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana Spirits, some great folks.
We had a wonderful time. It was well put together.
The first year for them to have a Paracon, it was awesome. The power went out, didn't change a thing. They were still doing panels in the pitch black rooms with cell phone lights. It just went off. It was perfect. It was a great event. And then we got another event coming up September 14th and 15th at the Deep South Para-Comic-Con in Ozark, Alabama. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday at the Ozark Civic Center. They're actually accepting vendor spots still. We went last year just as
to go check
guests. We didn't have a table or anything there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great event. They're going to have some really good, some celebrities there, and a lot of vendors. So it'll be a good event. Last year it came off. It was a really good event. So they invited us this year to have a table there. So we'll be one of their guests at the Paracon. So but it's called Deep South Para-Comic-Con in Ozark, Alabama. You can look it up. They have a website, deepsouthparacomicon.com. And like I said, that's September 14th and 15th. You can get your tickets. I don't remember, tickets were like, I think $20, $25.
Yeah,
it wasn't expensive.
Okay,
So
cool.
But they're and if you look on their website, they're accepting vendors. I think vendor tables were 125, so that's not too bad for a big weekend Paracon for the whole thing. So it's going to be a fun event, and we're going to try to get to some more Paracons. Hopefully, we're looking around. And
last year they had a lot of people showing up at that Paracon at Ozark.
Yeah, and so it was going to be in October. They had to change the date because it conflicted with another event that was going on, and it happened last year. So, they want to get it right so that we have a good turnout of people. So for vendors and whatever. But I mean, it was a good event last year. I'm looking forward to it. So that's some good folks.
All right, man. Well, you know what? It has been a pleasure talking to you guys. I really enjoyed it. And you got your hands full with your wife.
Oh, don't I know it?
Hey, but if she decides to go make that box, man, don't call me and it was,
Yeah, that'll just be a
sure
secret.
you put the tools back.
I'll be like, hey, you want to see my box?
Oh, that would be so funny.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, guys, it was such a pleasure talking to you guys. I really enjoyed it.
We enjoyed it too.
It's been a great time.
Yeah, guys, keep doing the great work down there, man. You guys, believe it or not, man, teams like you and with teams that are coming in, they're being put together every day. They're going to look at you guys, and you guys going to inspire them, to do the right things. When it comes to the way that we the way we investigate and how we should act as paranormal investigators as a whole. So hey, keep that momentum going, man. And hey, and all of you guys that are watching, I don't know because my screen messed up. Hey, make sure you guys go hit that like, share, subscribe on all their social media. I know they have Facebook, and they just said they got an Instagram. You guys have a TikTok?
No, I haven't made a TikTok yet for Ethereal Voices.
Okay, well, hey, make sure you guys go over there and hit all those buttons over there, man. Let's get those numbers up, man.
Yep.
And let's share. Hey,
we will appreciate it.
No problem at all. Hey, guys, and this podcast, feel free to share it with any and everybody.
Absolutely.
That you feel free with. And what's your cat's name?
We have Tuft and Harley.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Tuft. Tuft, because he has a white mark on his chest. So we call him Tuft, and the other one is Harley.
All right. Well, you guys, Tuft and Harley, keep these guys in line over there. Make sure everything's okay. But you know what, guys? I'm about to get out of here and go grab something to eat. Hey, let's do this again. I'll be calling you guys in a couple of months just to do a follow-up, see how you guys are doing over there.
All right.
And if you guys added new members to the team, I would like to come back and do another podcast with you guys.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime.
That'd be wonderful.
Anytime.
But anyway, okay. Well, you know what? Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Like inviting me into your home and so on and so on. So if you guys know any other teams out there that would like to come on our podcast and share their stories and all the weirdness that they got going on as paranormal investigators, please refer them to me, and hey, the rest will be history.
All right,
One thing I do know, it's hard to find Florida paranormal investigators. I don't know why that is. It's pretty much like Louisiana. I haven't had too many of you guys, people from Louisiana and Florida, on the podcast. I think you guys, the second team out of Florida. The first one is Drea and what's his name? Drea and Mike's Paranormal, and they're located just south of you. I forgot that little town they're in, but hey, they're a great paranormal team. Maybe you guys should hook up with them, man. And they got some great locations that you guys might want to check into, But it's been a very interesting day. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it. Richard, stay out of trouble.
Oh yeah, man. You too.
Hey, and this is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast. About to get out here, go grab something to eat. And those for you that are joining me tomorrow, I'll be in St. Louis. So, hey, I'll see you guys on the podcast tomorrow in St. Louis. In the meantime, peace. Hey, have a good one, guys.
Take care.
Yes, sir.